Thanks for joining us as we go live to the Sri Harikota Space Centre in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh.
Minus 30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
Roger. Minus 25 seconds.
PS2 VSPPs are opened.
Minus 20 seconds.
And we are here because they're just about to launch a rocket carrying a record number of satellites into space. That's 104 satellites on a single mission.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of normal, 7, 8, 9, plus 10 seconds.
Perfect liftoff, as usual for PSLV.
There it goes. In fact, this mission carrying only 3 Indian satellites. Most of the load here is nanosatellites from other nations, including 96 from the United States. The previous record holder, a Russian mission which put 37 satellites into orbit just a few years ago. Let's go live to Delhi now. The BBC's Sanjay Majumdar has been watching the launch. Sanjay, this is a big moment for India.
Absolutely, Mike. As you know, India has had a very successful space program. It's really created a reputation for being a very reliable space launcher, but a low-cost alternative to existing international players. And I was speaking to people yesterday, people who follow sort of space science very closely, and they were trying to explain to me why this launch was so significant. It's not just the fact that it's so many satellites up on one rocket, but the fact that it's so complex. You have to ensure that even though these are very small satellites, that they don't collide while they're being launched. It's a very, very complex procedure, and that's why everyone associated with the launch, the scientists, have been so anxious about it.
Yes, I know India has been pressing ahead. This whole business of putting commercial satellites into space for a few years has been growing, hasn't it? China and Japan.
That's right. Many people are saying that if it was the Russians and the Americans in the 60s, well, now it's the Indians and the Chinese, really, who are the new sort of space rivals, if you will. If you remember, in 2013, India sent a satellite to Mars at a fraction of the cost of a similar satellite that was sent by the United States, by NASA. I think it was a tenth of the cost. And there was a joke that, the Hollywood movie Gravity cost 4 times more than the Indian satellite launch. And it really underlines how strongly India's sort of approached this whole lucrative commercial market, basically allowing countries to take advantage of its technology, but also the fact that it's being offered at a very, very competitive price.
Sanjay, thank you very much for that. Those pictures on your screen now, live from the Sri Harikota Space Centre in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. They've just launched a rocket carrying a record number of satellites into space, 104 satellites on a single mission.
Let's think about this a little bit more. Okay, let's get to the top. Let's get to the topic. The three boys in the toy. We just want to talk about India breaking about 3 hours ago, not even that maybe, breaking this world record, 104 satellites in one shot. This agency is becoming a very serious player in the race. Well, look, if we've seen anything that's come out of India over the last decade, 2 decades, it's innovation, an appetite for delivering new technology. We've seen it aggressively happen in tech markets, in other businesses, and this is another area that India is looking to lead on globally. Yes, it's broken the record, which I think the Russians held from 2012. 104, as you say, Aaron, satellites on this one rocket. Now, the size of these things has changed drastically over the years. Great capability. 96 of them are from the US. Okay, so they're dealing with international markets here. But the question is, it's about capability. Now, we here in the UK are also building a great capability in satellite construction. We have a satellite catapult that the government funds, really world-leading in terms of how we develop technology here. The Indians are trying to play the race, the satellite space race, I think. And they do it very, very. They can do it for very, very cheaply. But I've had lots of tweets this morning. A question you mentioned about the UK doing this. So here's the question: India has a space program. India has nuclear weapons. 1/3 of Indians live on less than $1 a day. But if they've got a space program, they've got a nuclear program. Should the likes of UK, Australia be giving India aid? You've got about 30
seconds.
Right, well, the question isn't about where should the money be spent. Even in the UK, as we spend in the satellite industry, we have questions about should that money go into the NHS, should it go into welfare reform, should it go into other factors. I think the Indian government is looking at investing in innovation that will deliver for its economy and help that vast population to raise its standard of living. It's a macro conversation about policy and politics and where you place your bets. But I think, good on the Indians for doing it. Okay. There are other countries also trying to achieve it as well.